The video you're about to watch may have some naughty language in it, so if you can't handle some swearing, you probably shouldn't watch this video. Thanks. Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. We are back with a new show. It's a limited series that was on AMC last year, and it finally came to Hulu, so I get to finally watch the thing. I've been really excited to watch this and talk about it. In fact, I actually watched this a couple of days ago, the first episode. I had to re-watch it because I didn't have time to make the video. But this is AMC's The Terror. It's a limited series that aired, and it's got Ciarán Hinds from movies like Munich and Harry Potter. We've got he played Emir Tully on Game of Thrones. That guy is on here. Tobias. I can't remember his last name. And then my personal favorite is Jared Harris. He's from Fringe and The Expanse and a whole lot of other stuff. That he's always just such a great actor. One of my favorite character actors out there. And so this is telling the story, the fictionalized historical story of what happened to the two ships, the Erebus and the Terror, in 1845 when they were trying to find the Northwest Passage still. They have these pretty state-of-the-art ships that went out there, and the last that was seen of them was from some whalers right before they were heading deep into it. And it was just in 2016 that the ship was finally found. One of the ships anyway was found mostly intact, is what I read. There were also skeletons found, and it appears like that they cannibalized each other, and none of these people ever made it out of there. There are some I believe they found some of the like logs and things like that, and maybe some personal diaries, but nothing. Basically, they all died. And if anybody made it out of there, they didn't try to make their way back to England. But this is a fictionalized version of what happened after they disappeared. And so there are supernatural elements that just start to creep through here in the first episode. And it's an interesting way to do it. And I don't feel like they're being disrespectful, really. I think that it's just natural to try to fill in the gaps with it. This show is based on a fictionalized version of events as well. So even though you could say that, well, we should be telling the real story, I think giving it a little bit of a supernatural twist, it still has the same results, but I don't know. Sometimes it's a tricky subject, trying to deal with what happened to real people. And so let's just jump in. So like I said, if you haven't seen this episode, full spoilers are ahead. So yeah, they're out there trying to get through here, and it's not just like the thing that's going to kill them later, but when you're out on big missions, I don't know if anybody's seen like Master and Commander and things like that. A lot of things can kill you out there, and not just in the Arctic, just being out at sea in general, And so right away we have a kid that goes down, just starts coughing blood like crazy. They all think he's got like scurvy or maybe he's had consumption, that kind of thing. A lot of people drink a lot and stuff on these big long, when you're out on sea and stuff. And just back in the day, well, any day really. But so they got going for them. The officers are all to varying degrees like excited. They got to meet up and occasionally meet and discuss things. It gives us a little bit of character here, where Jared Harris is kind of like, he's already heard the stories that they all tell each other. Like they're already starting to they haven't even gotten all the way to their mission, and they're already kind of tired of each other a little bit. Ciarán Hinds, who plays John Franklin, the explorer, he's really great in this. He's got that whole stiff upper lip and hold fast kind of attitude, but also like with a lot of pride and almost arrogance, that guy searching for glory, willing to put everyone at risk because it's God and manifest destiny and all this kind of shit that got all sorts of people killed. back in those days. And, but the thing is whatever they believed in, right? Whatever they believed in, we wouldn't be where we are today without people like this. The people that went out there and searched for the unknown and for the, just to find all the answers that we have now, and all the people that died. You know what I mean? Like, what if nobody had decided to explore anything? I mean, I guess by this point in history, people would have had to explored out of just general overpopulation. But if it hadn't been happening organically throughout the centuries, we wouldn't be here right now. And well, some form of us would probably be here, but who knows where we would actually be. And I'm kind of getting off on a tangent, but just talking about explorers and that kind of attitude that they all have, except Franklin's already been out there and he's already lost people before. And so, it's tricky. And they established that Jared Harris's character, John Francis, he's the one that's the smart one, pretty much. You've got the second in command, played by Tobias, and he's more of he's the youngest one. He's the one that's kind of learning from the other two guys, and so they've got a nice dynamic. And the crew, you can tell, is really close as well. Now, right after, the kid's now sick, there's a guy that falls from the frickin' crow's nest and hits the wood so hard, man. Oh my God. I told my dad, who's got a really bad back, not to watch that scene, because he hits it so hard and falls into the water. And so they lose another guy. They try to get him out, but I mean, his back was fucking broken, man. So he sinks to the bottom. He dies. And then they send the guy who was going to try to save him. They send him down in the freaking Bioshock suit to break up the ice in the propeller. He goes down there, and lo and behold, the freaking dead body that he went to try to save is still floating behind them. And he is one of the first. He's the first person to be in those waters, under Arctic waters. And so I don't know. I would be pissing my pants already. But then to turn around after you're breaking up ice in a propeller and see a dead body floating towards you, I would have lost all bowel control. Okay, everybody, I would have there's no shame in saying it. I would just have gone all over. and then you have the kids end up, he's dying in the little medical room that they have, and he's trying to tell, the guy's trying to help him, you're not, when it's okay to die, and you'll be fine, and you'll be greeted by heaven and all this other stuff. And the kid eventually, as he's dying, sees this half naked Eskimo Inuit guy, while up on top of the deck, they're pulling, they have to get their little telescope thing out. And so shit's going down up top too, which it's showing that they're about to hit they're hitting the pack ice at the same time that this weird shaman looking guy is telling the kid, his mouth isn't moving, but the kid's going, it's telling me to run. It's really effective and really scary. And I don't think that's something I have talked about yet, is that this is scary, kind of just putting myself in their shoes, imagining what it would be like to be stuck out there in the middle of nowhere. And even today, right? Even today, if somebody could really get messed up out there, even in a ship. And so, I mean, global warming or not, you're out there at the wrong time. And that's kind of that isolation feeling is those are the things that I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of monsters and ghosts and things. I'm afraid of that kind of shit. Truly being trapped, and the elements are out to get you. As Jared Harris says, this place wants to kill us, nothing out here. It's why I have no interest in that kind of whenever I've been out near the ocean, I have no interest in going out there. Nothing out there wants me in it. And so I don't. But these guys now, they have one chance, and Jared Harris tries to tell them that, look, if we don't abandon the one ship that's got a busted propeller, and we don't put everybody on our ship that's working, and we try to do this one thing where we go for broke, we try to get around this thing, and we can just hold up till spring. We'll all hate each other a little bit from being too close to each other, but we're going to be alive. But this is where Franklin's hubris that even Jared Harris says is you're about to commit an act of hubris because you're going to get us all killed just to force it through for God and country and all that shit. And so he ignores him. He calls it a hypothesis, I believe, or whatever, something along those lines. And so he forces them through, and even though they try to blow up the ice, they end up, kind of stuck. And throughout, they kind of keep going back to this last moment where him, Jared Harris, Ciarán Hinds, and I believe the other guys in here somewhere, their moment of glory where everybody was cheering for them. And now look where they're at, out in the middle of nowhere. It was also really crazy when they had to bury the kid. He decided, it's like some sort of token of gratitude. He lets them go ashore to bury this kid, and it's like fucking straight rocks, man. Like the work that the amount of work it would have taken to dig that guy up, and once they put him in there, the freaking coffin pops open, and so it's a matter of like somebody has to go down there, put it in there. They're ready to just leave it the way it is, but they don't. But I mean, if a body got left out there, out that far away and buried under rocks, I would assume by the cold and everything else, you'd find that guy would be perfectly preserved practically. So that's nuts. Can you imagine being just like, where's so-and-so buried? And somebody asks another family member, hey, where's Uncle blah, blah, blah buried? And they're like, oh, he's out buried in the middle of the fucking Arctic. Like, oh, okay. I guess we're not going to go ever see his grave. It would make an interesting story for generations, I guess, to come. But they're now stuck out there. And, he's trying to be stiff upper lip guy. And like I said, they do that hint of supernatural because they think, he was hallucinating. But when they pull out, when they do the autopsy, which is great, it's like when, these people are doing some crazy shit back in 1845, but they needed to know if this kid was sick with like scurvy, something contagious or whatever. And, they rip him open. They find out that there's nothing. It was like they don't really know what's wrong with him because his liver's fine and he didn't have scurvy. So we don't know what killed him. And so it's interesting and scary. And I can't wait to watch the second episode, which is called Gore. So I don't, I'm hoping it's not one of those misleading titles. Like maybe it's about a person named Gore. Or, they just make a mention of somebody was gored by something. But I don't know. Gore sounds like an episode that I want to watch. So that's The Terror. I hope I've done a good enough job at like kind of setting it all up for you, because this is a setup episode, but it is effective and it does make you feel like you're there and in the cold, and it's the acting and the writing is all really, really good, and I can't wait to keep going with this. So if you did like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that rigmarole. Otherwise, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying we'll be back with another video pretty soon, and have a great day.